love it. I love it. I love it. Look at this. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Hey, I'm not surprised.
Hey, what's poppin', my bros? What's good? UFC 293, Israel Adesanya taking on Strickland in the main event. And before we break down matchups and make picks, here's my bets from last weekend. So guys, looking at my bets from last weekend, somebody offered me Cyril Gane at -155, which is insane. Also bet on Montefiore, had Nora Canol at +110. Also had a little parlay, a nice parlay that smacked. So the only losing bet that I did make was Reese McKee, and he was kinda close. I was expecting Reese to do that much sooner, but Looser with the grappling game plan looked good. And the Contender Series last night, I did give back some of my profits from Paris. I got dusted. But yeah, big shout out to one of the brothers who smacked a nasty parlay. Check this parlay. Check this. 1.6k profit. Oh my goodness. So it looks like most of us dusted UFC Paris. Can we do it again? Now moving into the land of MoneyCity. As always guys, if you see your name on the screen, that's money, let's go. Pure money, let's go. Now this week with MoneyCity guys, it is first come first serve because there was so many MoneyCity comments on the Paris card. So the first 15 to 16 winners are the ones that are posted. Always gotta honour the champions by blazing the blunt. And guys, don't forget, if you're leaving a MoneyCity comment, hashtag your comment. Alright, let's go. Alright, moving into the first matchup on this card, we've got Kevin Jousset taking on Kiefer Crosbie. Kevin Jousset is a striker fighting out of CKB, City Kickboxing. And City Kickboxing's got some great fighters, you know, great coaches. And I also heard that Kevin Jousset does really well against Adesanya in sparring. But more than likely, if he's finding good success against Izzy in sparring, more than likely Izzy's allowing for that to happen. But still, Kevin Jousset has a great training camp, great coaches, and a good opportunity this weekend. And his opponent, Kiefer Crosbie, is primarily a boxer, and he's going to throw down. You look at this guy in his last contest, it was just a boxing contest. And before that boxing contest, he competed against Kape Oliveira, who we all know, and he dusted Kape Oliveira, dusted him badly in round 1. So yeah guys, this matchup is going to be a good matchup to start UFC 293, but I think Kevin Jousset is more technical, you know, kind of walks forward with the hands down, but you can see that he trains at a good camp, and I just think he's going to be more technical than his opponent. So the first prediction will be Kevin Jousset to win this matchup. Alright, moving into a matchup between Blood Diamond taking on Charlie Radtke, and guys, here's the thing about Blood Diamond. He's a kickboxer. He's a decent kicker, but this is mixed martial arts, meaning that we can do more than kickbox. You have to grapple, right? And if you cannot grapple, good luck in mixed martial arts. Now, Blood Diamond doesn't have the best grappling, as we can see in his first 2 UFC matchups. The grappling's kind of missing. So already Charlie Radtke's looking at this UFC debut as a big opportunity to exploit a weakness of his opponent. So Blood Diamond has to show that he's worked on the grappling. You know, the defensive wrestling, the jiu-jitsu, digging the underhooks. Blood Diamond has to show that all of the work is paying off in the gym. Because if he goes into this matchup and he doesn't show good defensive wrestling, good jiu-jitsu, a good get-up game, digging underhooks. If he goes into this matchup and still cannot, you know, display those techniques, then he's going to get dusted again on the mat. And that's the risk you're going to run if you bet Blood Diamond this weekend. Now guys, after saying all of that, I'm going to pick Blood Diamond. I know the grappling's bad, but you've got to show the work from the gym. If you can put the work in and then show that work on fight night under the bright lights, that's what every fighter's looking to do. So every fighter's got their weaknesses, and a big weakness is clearly the grappling for Blood Diamond. This has got to be his last opportunity. This is the last chance. I'm going to take a big underdog. Alright, moving into a matchup between Shane Young taking on Gabriel Miranda. And guys, Shane Young has just not looked good recently in the octagon. Maybe that loss to Ludovic Klein a couple years ago somewhat changed his career. He's just not looked that good. Against Blake Builder, nowhere near as aggressive enough. Against Omar Morales, same thing, just not aggressive. Shane Young kinda looks like he's still waiting to get into a fight when he's already in a fight, if that makes sense. However, guys, his opponent is Gabriel Miranda. He's not a striker. So, although Shane Jung has found it difficult to compete on the feet in recent performances, that shouldn't be the case against Miranda. Now, Miranda got dusted by Benoit Saint-Denis. He is getting a second opportunity to compete against somebody that's not as aggressive, but I still think Miranda probably gets outclassed on the feet. You know, look to take Shane Jung to the mat. Look to impose your jiu-jitsu on Shane Jung. That could be a way to win the matchup. But guys, more than likely, if Miranda doesn't get Shane Jung to the mat, Shane Jung's got to show something, you know, show something in the performance, and I think he can against Miranda. So I'm going to take Shane Jung to win this matchup. Alright, moving into a matchup between Nasrat Haqparast taking on Landon Quinones. Now guys, this matchup in my opinion is a mismatch. I remember watching Nasrat fight live in Hamburg, Germany. He fought Mark Diakisi. Mark Diakisi's English, I'm English. And guys, I really expected that matchup to be an easy matchup for Mark Diakisi, but what proceeded to unfold over the next 15 minutes was extremely surprising. And ever since then, I've been a fan of Nasrat Haqparast. You know, this guy can box. He doesn't always show up 100%. But he's so many levels above Landon Quinones, you know, let's just keep it real. If you look at Landon Quinones, he took down Jason Knight on The Ultimate Fighter and then instantly got submitted. So yeah guys, looking at the path to victory for Landon Quinones, it would have to be grapple. You know, get Nasrat to the mat, avoid the boxing exchanges. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think Nasrat, like I said, is levels above Landon Quinones. So yeah, the pick is Nasrat Haqparast. Alright, moving into a matchup between Jamie Mullarkey taking on John Makdessi. And guys, I know Jamie Mullarkey is an absolute punch bag. You could say any fighter is a punch bag, because when you're in a fight, your body's the target, your body's the punch bag. Right? But guys, when we say someone's a punch bag, what we're really saying is their defensive striking is really, really bad. It's on the same level as a punch bag, because the punch bag doesn't defend itself, right? And that's kind of what we're saying when we say someone's like a punch bag. And that's really what you see with Jamie Mullarkey. Defensively, really, really bad. I forgot the name of his last opponent, but that fight proves it. And you can also look at other fights where Jamie Mullarkey just wears a lot of damage. Defensively, he's not good. However, guys, John Makdessi's super old, and we know that fighting is a young man's game. John Makdessi's had multiple surgeries, and he's also going to be outmatched in terms of size. You know, Jamie Mullarkey's going to have the size advantage, the age advantage, the strength advantage, and he's probably more willing to compete. You know, both of these guys are at different points in their career. John Makdessi's right at the end, and Jamie Mullarkey, I know he's a punch bag, but still getting better. So yeah, I'm going to side with the human punch bag, not to be so much of a human punch bag. Give me Jamie Mullarkey to break John Makdessi. Alright, moving into a matchup between Jack Jenkins taking on Chepe Mariscal, and this one's an absolute banger. Now, Jack Jenkins has so far displayed excellent Muay Thai techniques in the octagon, such as the low kick. The low kick is a nasty weapon for Jack Jenkins. And guys, what the low kick does, it creates multiple problems for the opponent if you can effectively get the low kick going, and Jack Jenkins does do that. Now guys, firstly, it lets the opponent know there is an attack going to the calf, right? So you start to think about the calf kicks. Secondly, it lets the opponent know if you keep getting kicked, soon you're going to have to change your stances. So you best be serviceable in the other stance, right? So let's say you're not serviceable in the other stance, and you also realize there's a lot of calf kicks going low. What it also does is forces the opponent to engage, because you start to panic about the lead leg turning to dust. And a good example, a classic example, would be Cody Garbrandt versus Pedro Munoz, where Pedro was just essentially able to force Cody to get into a brawl because the lead leg was turning to toast, to dust. And Jack Jenkins really does that well. The Muay Thai kicks are some good weapons, powerful weapons. So yeah guys, I do expect the techniques of Jack Jenkins to cause problems for Chepe Mariscal, but guys, Chepe's a dog. This guy's a dog. You know, look at the UFC debut against Trevor Peek. This guy's a dog. For me though, I don't think it's going to look like Trevor Peek against Mariscal. You know, this one was a crazy matchup. Whereas Jack Jenkins more calculated, more technical, and I think that's going to be the difference. So yeah, give me Jack Jenkins to win this matchup, and it cannot go 15 minutes. It just cannot. Alright, moving into a matchup between Carlos Ulberg taking on Jung. And guys, Jung has kind of been getting dusted in his last couple UFC matchups. You know, Dustin Jacoby was able to set him down with the hands, and Tree Trunk Legs Devin Clark was able to push Devin Clark performance onto Jung. So the UFC career of Jung is kind of taking a turn, and I would say the career of Carlos Ulberg has also taken a turn, where Carlos Ulberg started his UFC career on defeat. You know, managed to put together some nice performances since his UFC debut. Now guys, Jung is primarily a boxer, but if the boxer cannot get into boxing range, he's going to find it difficult against Carlos Ulberg. If you analyse the game of Carlos, he's technically good. You know, playing the same striking chess match as Israel Adesanya. And if you look at the technicality of Carlos Ulberg, he's good, he's patient, and he's looking for the Muay Thai kicks. He's looking for the slip counter. So I think this is a good test for Carlos Ulberg, and more than likely a test that Carlos Ulberg would pass. And I've taken him in every single one of his matchups. His UFC debut against Fabio Sharon, Tafon Chokwi, what's that guy's name? The wrestler. So yeah, I've taken Carlos in all of his matchups. I think his Muay Thai is good. His Muay Thai is good, you know, and I'm going to side with that. I'm going to be picking against Jung. If you waited to smoke with me, amen. If you've been smoking this whole time, double amen. If you're not a smoker but you enjoy the smoke breaks, that's always been a triple amen. All praise to God. Guys, I cannot wait for the press conference. I cannot wait. I actually can't wait for the press conference more than the fight. Because guys, let's be honest, if I gave you a betting line on who wins the press conference, those lines would be closer than the main event. They would be closer. So I really think, like, for this card, you've got to watch the press conference. I cannot wait. It's going to be jokes. Even the dialogue before with Izzy and Strickland, oh man, it was jokes. Alright guys, let's go. Alright, moving into a matchup between Tyson Pedro taking on Anton Turkalj. And guys, it should be loser leaves town. The loser should get cut from the UFC roster. Tyson Pedro had a few years off, and when he came back, he had this new striking style. The kicks, they were looking really good. But then when he fought Makdessi, suddenly his footwork is just, it's the footwork of a man who's never trained. His footwork looked really bad, and the speed, the cardio, it all looked really off against Makdessi. Now guys, the opponent is the Pleasure Man or something weird like that. Anton's not shown to be good. He's so far 0-2 in the UFC. His UFC debut was a mismatch. You know, the UFC just wanted to showcase their new Brazilian prospect, and they did with a matchup against Anton Turkalj, and Turkalj got dusted. But guys, here's the thing about this matchup. Tyson Pedro is a black belt. His jiu-jitsu is extremely good, but Anton Turkalj can also play the jiu-jitsu game. So then you start to look at the striking, you start to look at the kickboxing, and Tyson Pedro has evolved. You know, his kicks have gotten good. And you look at the striking game of Anton, who's not a striker, he is a grappler. He just looks a little bit reckless on the feet. He looks like he wants to force the action, you know, make something happen. But you kind of run yourself into trouble when you do that in a reckless way. And I do see that still in the game of Anton Turkalj. I also think there's a chance that Tyson Pedro could look good early in the fight, but then randomly halfway into round 2 starts to fatigue really badly. And now you've got Anton taking the back of Pedro. You know, it's a good matchup. It's a tricky matchup to predict. Guys, like I said, I do believe the loser should be made to be cut from the UFC roster. My pick, I'm going to side with Tyson Pedro. Alright, moving into a matchup between Justin Tafa taking on Austen Lane. And guys, we get this matchup again because in the first matchup, Austen Lane poked Tafa in the eye and we lost that fight. So we're going to run it back on UFC 293. And I'm going to keep the same prediction that I initially made, and that's Austen Lane to win this matchup. And guys, in my opinion, low-level heavyweight action is kind of like the same thing as low-level women's mixed martial arts. It's literally the same thing. I don't see how anyone can enjoy consistently betting on low-level heavyweight action. Austen Lane may get slept at any given moment, or he could use his height and reach to dictate the matchup. And obviously every fighter is looking to dictate the fight. Every fighter is looking to control their opponent. And like I said, it only takes one mistake for for someone to go to sleep when there's this much power being thrown around the octagon. However, guys, if you look at it from a sports entertainment perspective, and that's exactly what the UFC is, it makes for really good entertainment. You know, two big boys throwing heat, throwing their weight. Someone goes to sleep. So yeah, guys, my initial prediction was Austen Lane, but like I said, I don't bet on low-level heavyweight action, so no bet. But that is my pick. Alright, moving into a matchup between Kape taking on Felipe dos Santos. And guys, this fight's going to be very fun to watch. If you go watch the last matchup of dos Santos, he's very exciting. Spinning elbows, teeps to the body, lead hooks, jumping attacks. He's doing all the things that are very entertaining to watch. However, good luck against Kape. Good luck. Manel is sharp, accurate, the precision, the speed. It's going to be very difficult to compete against Kape. And if dos Santos does find success, more than likely the success would be early, because if this fight goes midway into round 2, I believe strongly that Kape would start to break dos Santos. I kind of feel like this matchup is a layup for Kape. I think he's going to go to the cage, get himself a nice stoppage, get your win money, get the show money, and let the people in attendance know that you want to fight Kai, and also let the people know you're still on the rise. So give me Kape to find a stoppage in round 1 or round 2. Alright, moving into the co-main event, we've got Tuivasa taking on Alexander Volkov. Now guys, if you ever find someone that says, I don't like Tuivasa, don't even respond. Don't even respond, because that's just a weird individual, because Tuivasa is an absolute gangster. This man just wants to swang and bang. And after the swanging and the banging's done, now we're going to do a shoey. Oh yes, the shoey must be done after a successful dusting of the opponent. And some people kind of sleep on the Muay Thai of Tuivasa. His calf kicks are good. The elbow against the fence in the clinch against Derek Lewis. This is Muay Thai. You know, Tuivasa loves the Muay Thai game, and most people just see him as a brawler. And of course, it's easy to see why you'd come to that conclusion, but if you really analyse the game of Thai, the Muay Thai is good. Now guys, the opponent is Alexander Volkov. Obviously, this guy's got the height and reach advantage, and he's going to fire the teep. He's got good teeps, and he's going to fire all those long strikes. Look to maintain the distance between him and his opponent. But guys, he's got to be careful, because Tuivasa is very quick for a big lad, and if you get hit clean at heavyweight, you go to sleep. You go night-night. And we see that against Derek Lewis and Volkov. You know, Volkov looked great, but then bang, dusted. So really, Tuivasa's got to find a big connection, or he's probably going to get outclassed by Alexander Volkov. Volkov has the advantage to pick his shots at range, you know, stay safe, stay clean with the striking when he's throwing that Thai. And Thai has to do what Thai always wants to do, force the opponent to swang and bang. Give me Tuivasa, let's go. Alright, moving into the main event, we've got Israel Adesanya taking on Sean Strickland. Now guys, the press conference is going to be more competitive than the main event itself. The back and forth on the mic will be closer than the actual fight. I can't wait to watch the press conference, I'm not going to lie. It's going to sound like a COD lobby from 2008, COD 4. And if you wasn't involved in the COD lobbies back in the day, it was amazing, it was so fun. But guys, as for the matchup, it's not going to be a close fight. Sean Strickland's got a jab. He's got a 1-2. He's got an overhand right. He's got, you know, he's got basic weapons. But when you look at Sean Strickland with the body work, the calf kicks, the head kicks, the jiu-jitsu, the wrestling, we don't see any of that. We don't see any of that work. You know, is he going to get Israel Adesanya to the mat? I doubt it. Is he going to work the body, work the legs? I doubt it. Guys, we know what Sean Strickland wants to do. Use the jab, use the 1-2, stay in boxing range, dirty boxing range. But that's not going to be easy against Israel Adesanya. It wasn't easy against Alex Pereira. Because anytime Strickland got into that range against Pereira, he was in like a dangerous range. And eventually the lead hook, dusted. And guys, it is the same thing against Adesanya, where if you push forward, if you make mistakes, entering that range, you are going to be shown the mistakes. And that's what Adesanya's going to do to Sean Strickland. You know, Sean's going to try find the boxing range, and Adesanya's going to stay at kicking range. So then it's going to be a battle of who makes mistakes. You know, Sean wants to get into a tighter range, but get into that range, if you make mistakes, that's where you're shown the mistakes. And especially against somebody as technically gifted as Adesanya. So yeah, I think the press conference is going to be fun, but the matchup itself It's not competitive. It should be domination for Israel Adesanya. As always, guys, drop down your main event, your co-main event, your Money City plays, your parlays, all that stuff. Drop in the comment section below. And as always, eyes to the sky, never glued to your shoes. Peace.